So the assembly is going to be all at the end. So if you want to see how it's assembled, just fast forward to the end. This is built very well. It's all metal construction, which is really nice. And this is somewhat of an affordable Tsprof. Now it's still expensive, just under 300 bucks, but you do get what you pay for with a sharpening system. And when you've tried so many sharpening systems, you realize all the downfalls of so many of them, and how a lot of the parts, whether or not they're made out of metal, do play a huge part in the construction, and how well they work, how tight they are, and how well they hold together, not flex and all that stuff. This one does not come with a heavy base, but you can bolt it down or clamp it. They do send a clamp, which is really nice that they have a clamp, but I would prefer a big heavy base just to be able to set it down. Now what you could do is you could just get yourself a block of wood or a cutting board or something and bolt it to that and just use that as your base, and then you can move it around all you want. In order to flip the blade, you just pull that back. It's very easy, works really good, and you can feel the precision. It locks right in securely. If you see any movement, it's just the desk I have it clamped to. This is a very solid system. So, for the $300 price range, this is the best I've seen so far at that price range. I gotta say that. Now, I like how they have this little thing right here where you can just slip it right in there and it'll hold your rod. To adjust the height of the rod, you just unscrew this and you can move this up and down. And they do have this little digital Execube or whatever they call it. They did send this to me, so this did not come with the system. It's a little confusing. You have to set it on setting 4. And the way I got there was by pushing these two buttons at the same time. So you see how it's on 4 right now. The last number is 4. So now it's on P1. So this is not the setting you want it on, because it has settings to go, I think, up and down and side to side, which I'm just looking for the regular angle right there. So that would be the setting I'd want it on. The angle of the clamp and the angle of the rod. You add those together to get your angle, but you don't even have to do that because it does have the numbers right here on the rod. So it already has the numbers already preset for you, and they do match up pretty good. So, you really don't even need the angle guide or the digital angle finder, but you can get it if you want it. So the diamond plates that come with this system are just that. They are just diamond plates. They're not VENEVs. They're just diamond plates. I know Pete accidentally from Cedric and Ada in his video was calling them VENEV stones. VENEVs are resin bonded stones. These are just diamond plates. Now, the problem with these is they do wear out pretty quickly. There's a lot better diamond plates out there, and I've spoken about this a lot. I do recommend, if you get a Tsprof, get some different stones. Get some ATOMAs or actual VENEV stones. They work so much better and they will last so much longer. These are still good, they'll work, but they wear out very fast. So I'm gonna finish sharpening up this side, then we'll flip it and we'll get to the other side. I am using their stones right now, but I most likely will be using my VENEVs or ATOMAs in the future with this system, because the way the clamping system works, you can easily use any stone you want. So you can just unscrew that and move it to the depth. So if I only have a 4-inch stone, I can do that. If I have a 6-inch stone, I can use that. So you can basically use any stones you want with this system. And that's another reason why I love Tsprof so much, is how versatile they are. Now with the clamps are the small clamps, which I do like because it allows you to get a smaller knife. Now, if you have to get to a really small knife, you're going to have to clamp it on one side. I'm not sure if they're going to have multiple clamps for this system like they do the Cadet Pro. The Cadet Pro, there's all different kinds of clamps you can get depending on the size of the knife or how small it is or skinny it is, all those little things. So if it's a really small knife, just take both clamps, put them on one side, or just use a single clamp. This will do fairly large knives. And I'm guessing if you're looking at this system, you pretty much already know how a fixed angle system works. So if you want to see any videos on how to use a sharpening system like this, or techniques on making a professional edge when using a device like this, I do have a tips and tricks video you can go watch, and multiple other sharpening videos that teach knife sharpening. So after creating my burr with my first stone, I switched stones, flipped sides, and now I'm continuing knife sharpening with the coarse 220 grit. Gonna go through all the stones. So this is a good burr. Watch how this thing just pops right off. See how they're just flaking right off? See my hand? That's a good indicator this is a nice hard steel. I can literally pop it off with my fingers. You can see it in my hand right now, all the little flakes. It's a good indicator that it's a nice hard steel, which is something we like to see. Switching stones to the medium 400, and then continuing. With any sharpening system, regardless which one it is, even if it's freehand, the most important stones are going to be your first stones, the coarse stones. You want to do all the work on those stones. The last stones and all the finishing stones are just that. They're just finishing stones. They're for the edge finish. They're not doing the knife sharpening. They're not creating the edge bevel. They're just changing the finish on the bevel. So really, you don't even have to use those stones. You should be able to be very happy with your first stone, just one stone. Obviously, to refine it, maybe one more stone, so then maybe two, but doing 4, 5, 6, 7 stones, that's just to change the finish for the grit pattern, which results in the micro serrations at the apex. So basically the bite that the knife has. The finer it is, or the higher grit and stone, the finer the sawtooth is going to be at the edge. And the lower, the more aggressive it's going to be. But the edge bevel was still created by the first stone. It was created, the sharpness, all of that was created by the first stone. All the rest of the stones were just refining it, making that sawtooth finer and finer. So we're on our last stone, the 1000 grit from Tsprof. If I wanted a mirror finish from here, I would need more stones, finer stones, or I could technically get a bunch of strops and strop my way there. I don't prefer to do that, but 1000 grit edge is a perfectly good edge. That's more than perfect. Actually, between 600 and 1000 grit is gonna be, in most cases, the best edge you can put on most knives. Now, in order to get a mirror polish, you'd have to take it over 2000 grit, you know, 3000, 5000 grit, but you don't need to do that to have a good quality edge, or in most cases, the best quality edge. The best quality edge is gonna have a significant amount of bite, while being fine enough not to catch and tear things, it's going to be aggressive enough to bite into things, and that is usually between 600 and 1200 grit. Not that a mirror polish edge isn't very beautiful, and in some cases could be the optimal edge depending on the steel, what you're doing, that blade geometry, and so on. But 600 and 1200 grit is always a good edge. A polished edge is not always a good edge. So I'm on my final burr. I'm going to be doing reverse passes, very gentle, no pressure. I'm using it on my finishing stone, which was the 1000 grit. Couple passes per side, starting from the tip, just like stropping. All I'm doing is trying to snag the burr off and fatigue it or tear it off. Since this one's a nice hard steel, it doesn't take much effort to get it to pop off. And then we will strop. So I have the strop now. This has gunny juice on it. I have 12 micron gunny juice, which should be just fine for 1000 grit. And if I want to do mirror polished edges and that stuff, I will just use my VENEV stones later. This is a really, really good edge though. Let's take it out and test it. That is ridiculously sharp. Holy cow. Wow. Yeah, that's very, very sharp. We'll show it on a piece of paper. Very, very sharp. All in all, with this sharpening system, I do like it quite a bit. This is only just a first impressions. It will be in many other videos. It is one that I already know I really, really like. You know, it's very easy to use. It is a little bit weird to put together. They had these screws, this thing screwed in. You have to take the screw out, and that didn't really make sense to me. Everything's in Russian. There's nothing in English in here, so you might want to watch a video on it. As far as nitpicks and negatives go, there isn't a lot. I would like the base. I think that would have been awesome, but I do understand why they did it like this. And, you know, it did help bring the price down. And then you can always bolt it into something and make your own base, which is very easy to do. And then, you know, you'd rather say, would you rather save 50 bucks and make your own base, which is very easy, or spend $50 and have it come with the base, you know? And if that's the case, there's lots of other systems. They have the Cadet, you know, they have many other systems. So to save the money, you can do it yourself and just clamp it. And it does come with the clamp, so I do like that. The next little nitpick, I guess, would be, you know, some of the little screws that for like the rod, they're very tiny, and it does come with a couple extras. I'll give them that. They did send a couple extras, but I would love it if they just sent like 10 of them, just in case, because you always feel like you're gonna strip out those tiny little screws, especially with somebody like me who uses a sharpening system a lot or uses sharpening devices a lot. And if I have to move this stone holder attachment a lot, which I do because I change different stones, I use ATOMAs, I use VENEVs, so I'm the guy who does move this a lot. If you're the guy who's just gonna use the same type of diamond plates every time, you're not gonna be moving it. But for me, I will be, so I'm gonna be more likely to strip it out than most people. So that would be a negative to me. The only other thing would be, you know, I kind of wish that well, maybe it does, I don't know, we'll see. I kind of wish that this thing had more clamps. This is fine. I mean, it works. It's gonna work for 90% of the things you want, but there's gonna be those few things that it's gonna be a little frustrating to clamp. In that case, it'd be awesome if they had, you know, a universal or versatile clamping system that just had like one wide clamp or something like that. They have them with other systems, so they'll probably make one for this. Other than that, The little angle cube thing, this thing is frustrating. It's very, it was very difficult to learn, but after figuring it out, it's pretty easy. But there's a lot of digital angle finders. All in all, fantastic. For 300 bucks, this is the best system I have found for 300 bucks. I know a lot of people are gonna ask me, what about the Work Sharp, right? What about the Work Sharp? And this is what I would say to that. The Work Sharp, while it's a fantastic system, and I still do recommend it, the one negative is the positive with this, is that you can only use their stones unless if you buy an aftermarket stone holder. So you can buy the aftermarket stone holder and then it's just as good as this for the most part. I mean, this is all steel, so, you know, or all metal, sorry, not all steel, all metal, which is really, really nice and is pretty strong. But being able to use any stones you want and not be limited to only their stones is an amazing thing when you're a knife sharpener. I like to use all different kinds of stones. The Work Sharp professional knife sharpening system, you can do that, but you have to buy the aftermarket stone holder attachment in order to do that. So I would say because of that reason, this one definitely tops that one for that reason and that reason alone. Now you could say, well, the Work Sharp comes with a base. You could argue that, you know. I don't think using a clamp is that big of a deal. And like I said, you can always just bolt it right down to something. Anyways, that's just the first video. Like I said, I'll be doing many other videos on this system. This was just a first look at it really quick. And hey, yeah, definitely one that I recommend. It's really awesome. It's very well done. And another great Tsprof product because Tsprof usually kills it with their products. So there you go. Work hard, stay tough. Till next time, peace.
Are you not going to read directions? This looks like somebody who hasn't read directions.
No, I'm not reading directions.
You look like you haven't read directions.
I haven't.
They're right there, you know. I can see them, the directions.
You want to check them out?
You threw them to the side.
You want to check them out?
Yeah.
Whoa. You do that.
Look, it's laminated. Look, it's got a spot to go in a binder. No, we got a problem, baby.
It's in Russian?
Yes.
Yeah, there's probably an English side, though.
There's pictures. The pictures aren't in Russian.
Yeah, well, that's usually how it goes.
Complicated.
So it appears you have to take these screws out right here on the sides and then rotate it up and then find the new hole and re-put them back in now in the open position. I don't know why they would have been bolted down, but it was so. Almost done. Just gotta. Now this thing and one must. Huh?